Yo, what's good? Yes, it's about Chris back with another video. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't fully do that intro very long because y'all feel me. Woo! Last night, y'all. Last night was the 4th. Y'all feel me? And I got drunk as shit. I'm gonna be so honest with y'all, bro. It was my first time fully getting drunk like that. Cause I threw up. It was my first time having some lemon drops, y'all. And I did too much moving and first time me throwing up off liquor, y'all. I ain't never think that. I wouldn't say I ain't never think that, but like I ain't sit there and think like, oh, I'm gonna throw up on liquor. No chasers, y'all. I just be drinking straight liquor, y'all. Y'all might say I'm an alcoholic, but I'm really ain't an alcoholic. But y'all feel me? Today we got a video by Geographic by Geoff. Well, how you say his name? Y'all feel me? And basically, the video we finna react to is why so few Americans live in the huge area of the East Coast. Now, as for y'all know, I'm from Atlanta. Well, I say I'm from Atlanta, but I'm from Georgia. I haven't really tell y'all where I'm from. I'm from Georgia, and y'all feel me? That's the East Coast. So I want to see, really what the freak why people don't live over here. Because, I mean, if you ask me, I feel like a lot of people live over here. If you ask me. Crazy, ain't it? So, you feel me? Finna go ahead. Why I always gotta do something? I always gotta do something, y'all. I always gotta do, close the door, do something like that. But y'all feel me? Go ahead, hop into this video. Let's see what the freak going on.
Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina are home to over 26 million people between the three of them.
26 million people. And ain't there like 2 billion people in the earth though? I say in the earth. On the earth? So where the freak is everyone else at then? Because they more definitely ain't in the desert.
Despite this, every major metropolitan area within these three states are located well inland away from the Atlantic coast, which is very different from the northeastern states and Florida. So why don't more people live in the empty East Coast?
I guess what he was trying to say was, I guess, the Eastern Coast. Shoot, I guess where you talking about Savannah and all that stuff at. I mean, shoot, y'all, they ain't nothing over there for real. So I mean, and Savannah used to be the city. It used to be the what was it, a city, a capital of Georgia, wasn't it at one point? If I'm not mistaken, y'all correct me in the comments if I'm wrong.
Hello and welcome to Geography by Jeff. Today we're off to explore another
So we're gonna react to it though, just because
relatively empty region of the United States. This time though, we're heading to the southeast. And while this area does have millions of people living in it, compared to the Northeast and Florida, it's quite odd that there aren't more people living on the coast of this region. And as usual, there's a geographic reason for this. But first, this week I have an extra special podcast greater detail. This channel of East Coast, encompassing the eastern counties of Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, is home to a pretty unique range of geographic features that have both facilitated and hindered human settlement and economic activity. The region we're talking about in this video is generally characterized by smooth, sandy beaches, barrier islands, and extensive salt marshes. These barrier islands, while very picturesque and emblematic of the southeast coast, offer a sort of double-edged sword. They provide some protection against the wrath of the Atlantic, but are often not stable enough to support large-scale, permanent human activities such as major port operations. Further inland, the land starts to rise gradually into the rolling hills and low mountains, offering a different set of opportunities and challenges. This geography has influenced the types of industries that have flourished here, historically centered around agriculture, especially the plantation economy of cash crops like tobacco, cotton, and rice in Georgia and South Carolina.
so like y'all ever heard that question where there was like how much for an hour would you take to pick some cotton? Personally, y'all, if I'm doing it, I'm so real with y'all. This is how I look at it. I'll do at least 100 an hour. And I'll just work. I don't even gotta work 10-hour shifts. I'll go in there, I'll work at least 5 hours. And then I'll probably do it for like a month. Then I'm out. Then I'm out. I'm gonna go ahead and, yeah. But y'all drop down below how much y'all want to work for an hour to pick some cotton. Y'all drop it down below.
It was this penchant for plantations and agriculture that would eventually lead to a drastic increase in slavery within these states, as running such enormous operations required an incredible amount of labor. This part of the Southeast history has left an indelible mark not only on the economy of the region, but also the demographic makeup of the Southeast, which is still home to the majority of Black Americans. As of 2021, the entire southern region of the United States was home to about 56% of the country's Black population, with Atlanta alone being home to about 2.2 million, behind only New York City. In North Carolina, the topography becomes a bit more varied, with the flat coastal plain giving way to the elevated Piedmont region and eventually the Appalachian Mountains, adding forestry and mining to the region's economic activities. The empty East Coast is also marked by significant rivers such as the Savannah, which also serves as the natural boundary between Georgia and South Carolina, and the Cape Fear River in North Carolina. But while these rivers have been essential for internal trade and transport, they were not large enough to facilitate any meaningful amount of maritime trade in the same way that the Mississippi River and St. Lawrence River were for the Midwest of the United States and Canada, respectively. Finally, another important aspect to consider is the region's vulnerability to climate extremes, particularly hurricanes. This has not only shaped the natural landscape, but also human activity.
See, y'all, I think if you go all the way in Georgia, you're obviously not gonna see a hurricane. But I'm pretty sure on the coast, those folks getting messed up terribly.
Activity and settlement patterns. The risk of natural disasters has always been a background factor in planning and development along the coast of this region specifically. Since 1990, 56 hurricanes and tropical storms have slammed into this region specifically, making it one of the most dangerous areas to live in.
Y'all see how ain't really any other hurricanes that came all the way up into Georgia? Y'all see that? Like, most time we'll probably just get like rain and stuff like that from where up in here, but like over here, man, bro, you up in this area, because this is where most of the people are in Georgia. Like this is where most, because obviously the city right here, but like everybody's up in this area. No one's really down South Georgia, bro. Nobody. There's a big giant enormous state. And y'all see no hurricanes really coming to South. So Georgia really probably one of the safest places to live in. Can't count. You don't get to do with hurricanes, no snow, no tornadoes. What you get is thunderstorms and stuff like that. I can deal with that.
Even with regards to natural disaster preparedness, only Florida gets more hurricanes overall, but that's due to a combination of receiving hurricanes from the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. The empty East is a fascinating region of the country, but if you haven't picked up on it yet, its history and geography have created issues in establishing large population centers on the coast, and we're going to explore why that is right now. But first, if you're enjoying this video, hit that subscribe button. More fun geography videos.
Y'all hit the subscribe button. We're learning today. Yeah, y'all, I react to everything, but y'all, we learned today. Hit the subscribe button, like button.
Videos are just a single click away. The southeast coast of the United States, specifically the states of Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, evolved in a much different manner from their northern neighbors. Unlike states such as New Jersey, New York, and Massachusetts, with their deep, glacier-carved harbors that facilitated the growth of major urban centers, the southeast coastline has a vast swath of barrier islands, salt marshes, and flat plains. The absence of natural harbors along this stretch meant that these states never developed into significant maritime trade hubs. And it's this geographic constraint that led to a cascading effect on the region's population, steering it towards an agricultural focus that has had lasting implications well into today. The region's barrier islands provide some shelter against the Atlantic Ocean, but aren't actually stable enough to support large-scale maritime activities required for major port activities. New York City, for example, is built on a natural harbor that was formed by glaciated ice tens of thousands of years ago, which has allowed it to pack so much weight on top of it with minimal impact. Without the benefits of natural harbors, the southeastern states couldn't easily partake in the transatlantic trade that catalyzed the industrialization and urbanization of northeastern cities. Instead, the Southeast saw a growth of the plantation economies driven by cash crops like rice, cotton, and tobacco. The broad, flat lands away from the coast were well suited for large-scale agriculture, and the hot, humid climate of the region provided an ideal environment for these crops to thrive. Plantations required a large labor force, leading to the horrible importation and
I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. Why? Why they got them looking like that? And those are females. I know 9 times out of 10 the males are more definitely doing the harder labor. These look like house slaves. They are messed up for this video. I mean, this image right here.
and enslavement of Africans, a historic atrocity that has had enduring social and cultural consequences for the region and the country at large. And unlike the diversified economies of the Northeast, which included manufacturing, shipping, and eventually technology, the Southeast became economically specialized in the plantation economy, fueled by forced labor of slaves. And it was this exact plantation economy which also discouraged urbanization.
Like the fact is like we honestly can't even go off this picture because how do all of these people did, I guess it's just a diagram because obviously it ain't no full picture, but like, I really, wow, look at this, like they literally made this stuff a system, y'all. Like, look at this, like, everything's a system. Like, is y'all seeing what I'm talking about? Like, houses are, this is close to be 1734, and our houses are still like this. And as we see how our world has got worse and worse as time has went on. Now, do y'all see that? Like, generations after generations, don't get worse and worse and worse and worse, to the point where niggas just out here doing stuff like, look at, like, and this shit been going on since 1734. We just got technology now. That's all the different is. Everything been going on the same. Look, they even got a shed right there. Like, the same thing been going on. We just got technology now. We are just a little bit way more advanced. But we really can't even say that. Because if you think about it, the Egyptians, they was advanced. They built pyramids and stuff like that. So it's like, history already repeated itself, y'all. We just didn't very advanced civilization.
Plantations were largely self-sufficient entities that didn't rely on urban centers for labor or goods in the same way that manufacturing did. The small towns and cities that did emerge were usually oriented towards supporting agricultural practices, not industrial production. Even the significant rivers in this region, such as the Savannah and Cape Fear, couldn't compensate for the lack of natural harbors, serving more as conduits for internal trade rather than gateways for international commerce. Today, the legacy of this geography continues to be felt. Even as the modern economy diversifies and technology diminishes the limitations of geography, the Southeast's historic focus on agriculture has left an indelible imprint. Although cities like Atlanta and Charlotte have emerged as major metropolitan areas due to becoming transportation hubs and diversifying their economies, the coastal areas still bear the marks of a bygone era dominated by plantations and an agrarian lifestyle. While the coastal regions of Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina are rich in natural beauty, they haven't attracted the dense populations we see in areas like the Northeast, Florida, or even the nearby metropolitan centers like Atlanta and Charlotte. Setting aside historical factors such as the lack of natural harbors and a plantation-focused economy, several contemporary reasons explain this discrepancy in population density. Cities and metropolitan areas are the primary magnets of population, and job opportunities in these coastal regions are often less abundant and diverse compared to other regions of the country. While tourism and some forms of agriculture and fishing are prominent, there just aren't that many jobs within these industries as compared to popular industries like manufacturing. And while major metropolitan areas like Atlanta, Charlotte, and the Raleigh-Durham Research Triangle have become major corporate hubs, attracting young professionals and creating a wide range of jobs, they've become all-consuming for the region at large. In a way, these metro regions have sucked the economic vitality from cities that might otherwise have become a major city on the coast.
Hey, y'all, I've been to Savannah a couple times, and it's boring down there. Can I cap? Very boring. Even though, like I said, I think Savannah should be a city or the capital or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, I should know my history way better, y'all, but shoot. Atlanta's the freaking capital now. So, I mean.
And much of this comes on the back of infrastructure, specifically as it relates to transportation. Major cities are often transportation hubs, making it easy for residents to travel both domestically and internationally. And in this region specifically, Atlanta has become the dominant transportation hub, sucking the air out of most other regional cities. Atlanta was once known for being one of the largest rail hubs in the country and continues to have the largest airport. As such, cities like Savannah, Georgia do not have nearly as many transportation options, thus further discouraging businesses to set up shop in them. Today, the entire region we're talking about is home to just over 10 million people. That's actually quite a lot of people. But compared to the development of other regions in the eastern half of the country, it's still relatively empty.
So you telling me in Florida alone, there's 21 million people? That is crazy to me. That is crazy. 20 million people is like in Mississippi and Texas, and 50 million people are up there in the north. Boy, that's too many people. I'm glad. That's this. We're just talking about this little region right here. Florida. So you consider all of Florida? Well, I guess that is the same. I guess that's the same. 21 million people is outrageous for the whole state. That is crazy. So it's probably like what? I can't even say.
Empty. The largest metropolitan areas in the region would be Columbia and Charleston, South Carolina, with about 820,000 and 800,000 people respectively. Fayetteville and Wilmington, North Carolina, with 520,000 and 282,000 people. And Savannah, Georgia, with 404,000 people. And while none of these metro areas are tiny, all of them combined are less than half of Atlanta's 6.1 million people.
Yo. Will you really sit here and think about it? The fact that he just said there's 6.1 million people that's in the area of they consider Atlanta is crazy. Like, you can literally just be popping in Atlanta. You don't even gotta be. That is outrageous to me. How you can literally get that big just in one city. That's crazy to me. Cause yo, where I'm from, it's probably like my town got like 4,000 people in it. We're talking about my town compared to Atlanta, Georgia, with 6.1 million people. That's boom, mind-boggling to me, bruh. What the freak? And we talking about all this combined, and it still don't beat Atlanta. It still don't beat Atlanta. In all these regions. This is see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cities. To one city. Atlanta's outnumbered and still beat them. Crazy.
Which is interesting because Charleston specifically predates Atlanta by more than 150 years.
Yeah.
Interestingly, despite Atlanta
It should.
being far and away the largest city in the southern region of the country, Charleston, South Carolina predates Georgia's capital by more than 150 years. And given its location on the Atlantic coast, the desire by colonial rulers for easy access to their new lands, and a need for transportation methods tied to water, the South Carolina city probably should have grown to become the dominant southeast city and not Atlanta. But alas, that's not how history typically goes. One of the key factors in the evolution of the two cities is the role Atlanta has played as a transportation hub. Initially founded as a railway junction named Terminus, Atlanta's strategic location offered a nexus for multiple forms of transport, linking the agricultural richness of the South with markets in the Midwest and Northeast. This central positioning was further bolstered by the development of the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, which has grown to become one of the busiest airports in the world, attracting businesses and residents alike. And while Charleston has had over 100 years head start, its physical geography was limiting in a way that Atlanta's was not. You see, Charleston is located on a peninsula, constrained by the Cooper and Ashley rivers and the Atlantic Ocean. This geographical limitation has somewhat curtailed its ability to expand, unlike Atlanta, which had more room for outward growth and development. The low-lying coastal terrain around Charleston also makes it more vulnerable to sea level rise and extreme weather events, possibly deterring some forms of heavy investment and large-scale urban development. Social and cultural factors have also played into the city's divergent paths. While both cities are vibrant cultural centers, Atlanta has garnered a reputation as the unofficial capital of the South, attracting international events like the 1996 Summer Olympics and serving as the birthplace of influential civil rights movements. Charleston, though culturally rich and historically significant, has not been the stage for events of similar international or national impact. Bottom line, Atlanta simply had too much going for it when it was founded that, by 1890, it was already larger than South Carolina's most populous city. It's really interesting looking at the Northeast and Southeast and how they've developed geographically. There's almost a line you can draw where, as you head south, you can see the major population centers drift away from the Atlantic coast. But while many of these coastal communities lack the same population as Atlanta or Charlotte, they still have much or more to offer in terms of cultural and historic amenities. I hope you enjoyed learning more about
That was some very good information to sit there and think about, y'all. Cause I sit there and I'm like, dang, there's a lot of people in Atlanta. That's crazy to me. So I sit there and make me wonder, like, damn, if you all you gotta do is bump to the right person and get the right information, but you're out of there. You're out of there, bro. So I tell y'all, keep chasing y'all dreams, keep doing what you're doing. Someone's gonna find you, someone's gonna notice you. You just gotta keep posting and keep chasing your dream, bro. Wherever that might be, cause obviously you can see there's a lot of people. You just gotta get to where there's more people to where you can have better opportunities and more opportunities to get there. So y'all feel me? This was actually a pretty good video, a very educational video. If y'all want me to do more educational videos, y'all comment down below. So y'all feel me? But y'all follow my Instagram and friends, then y'all know what we're about to do. Y'all follow my TikTok, get Christian Clips, that's with a Z. And y'all follow my Color Brand Praise at Lux Rise Studios, man. I'll catch y'all next one. Peace. And I need to do if I ain't get paid, I ain't doing the show. Shit, I'm finna